everybody, thank you for joining me again. Now, once again you find me in a field that I've only ever been in once before, and that was about 3 years ago. The reason I don't come here much is because, for whatever reason, the farmer very rarely cuts the grass in this field. But it looks as though he cut it at the back end of last year, and because of the long dry spell that we had, the grass hasn't grown much. But it's about to because of all the heavy rain we've just had. Now, there's another reason why I wanted to come into this field, because last time I was here I noticed in that corner over there are the remains of an old stone footbridge or pack horse bridge, which looks extremely old. Now, I'm hoping that this visit produces a little bit more than my last one, because the last time I was here I found practically nothing. But new detector, better technology, so just keep your fingers crossed. So I'm going to have a bimble round here for a couple of minutes, and then I'll go over there and I'll show you that old stone pack horse bridge. Okie dokie. Right, let's go and see if we can find anything. Right, my good friends, looks as though we've got the first coin of the day just down there, my friends. Came up at about 72, 73, about 6 inches deep. Just there, my friends. Could be a could be a George III, as usual. Don't really know. Anyway, we'll pop it in the little boxy thing and we'll get a bit further. Right, my good friends, that is what's left of the old pack horse bridge down there, and I suspect it was built round about the same time as the old medieval hall that used to stand behind me about 300 yards away. The hall itself was built in about 1400 and eventually demolished in the early 1800s, and there's now a Victorian farmhouse stands on the site. Now the footpath goes off in that direction up there, and it's very, very steep. Now what it was used for I don't really know, but it must have been very difficult to get a horse and cart from right up there right down here, because it's very narrow as well. Maybe the landscape's changed over the last few hundred years, I don't really know. Anyway, we're going to head off in that direction up there, follow the footpath and see if we can find anything. Okie dokie. Right, catch you all later, boys and girls. Right, boys and girls, well, I'm now on the old footpath that comes up from the stone bridge, which is over there. I'm following the footpath down, and I've got a signal down here. Now then, does that look like a ring to you? I mean, I know it's not gold, and it's probably not silver, but it looks a bit like a ring. I know it looks like copper in the middle, but it looks like maybe silver on the outside. Well, I'm not quite sure what to make of that, but it looks promising. Right, we'll pop that in the special boxy thing and we'll see if we can find anything else on this footpath. Right, boys and girls, well, as you can see, I'm still on the old footpath. Now then, we've got a target down here, quite deep. It's about 8, maybe even 9 inches deep. Came up at 79 on the ID scale, and I think we've got ourselves a lovely silver hammered coin. Just there, my friends. Now then, and that just goes to prove that this footpath is probably as old as what I thought it was. Now then. Oh yes. We have silver in the hole, boys and girls. Right, let's have a look at this little beauty. Right, there it is, my friends. I don't know what kind it is. I don't even know how old it is, but it's old. Looks as though it's been clipped on the edges a couple of times, but I'm not bothered. Right, we will have to do some research when we get home, try and find out who exactly the coin belongs to. Right then, my good friends, I think I'll celebrate and go and have some lunch. What a cracking little find. Right, catch you later. Right, boys and girls, well, I've had a spot of lunch to celebrate finding the silver hammered coin, and I think we've got another coin down here, although not quite as exciting as the hammered. Looks like a halfpenny, maybe. Nice and green. Can't see what it is without my glasses on. Could be Victoria, not too sure. Anyway, we'll pop it in the boxy thing and we'll crack on. Right, my good friends, got a target down here, came up at about 75, 76. It's about 6 or 7 inches deep, and it's this bizarre little doohickey down here. And it looks like a little harness mount or leather mount. Let's have a look. Alright, there's the little fella in question. As I said, looks like a little harness mount or leather mount of some description. Actually, looks as though it's got some serious age to it, that. And hopefully it'll clean up very nicely. But I'm very pleased with that. Right, my friends, into the little bag, and not the boxy thing, and we'll plod on a bit further. Right then, my good friends, we've got another target down here, about 5-6 inches deep. Came up at 71 on the ID scale, and it's just there, my friends. And I think we've got another little coin. I think it's an old threepenny bit. Yeah, I don't know, probably Queen's dad. Shut up. Yeah, probably Queen's dad. Might be about 1943, something like that. That's unless it's Queen Elizabeth, the present Queen. You never know. Right, well, shut up. Right, we'll pop it in the little boxy thing, and I think I'll go for a cup of tea. Well, boys and girls, this is a bit bizarre. I got a signal down here and the detector was going mad. It was giving me an overload signal and all sorts. But it was a good signal, came up at 75. Anyway, I'll just put the spade in to dig it up and I can see it. It's there. It's just laid on the surface. And it's definitely a coin. Oh well. I don't know. I don't know, it could be out. Oh, it looks like, I think it's Victoria. It doesn't look in bad condition anyway. Oh well, I'll take it. I wish they were all as easy as that. Right, into the boxy thing, and we'll plod on. Right, boys and girls, well, before we get on to this rather mediocre find, I just want to give a shout out to a couple of channels. Now I want to give a shout out to James from Detecting Adventures Scotland. He's a nice bloke, if you can understand what he's saying, and I don't mean any disrespect when I say that, but he's got a very broad Scottish accent. Anyway, he's a nice bloke, so give James a watch from Detecting Adventures Scotland. Now the other channel that I want to give a shout out to is a relatively new channel, and it's called Somerset Searchers, and it's hosted by Will and Julie, who I believe is a man and wife team. If I've got that wrong, I do apologise. It's a good channel, they find some nice bits and pieces, and I like them. So, pop over to Somerset Searchers, tell them I sent you, give him a thumbs up and give him a sub. Okie dokie. Right, let's get on to the mediocre find, which is just there, my friends. Only about 5 inches deep. I thought it was a pistol ball at first, but it's not round. But I still think it's some sort of projectile. Do you like that word? I think it's some sort of projectile from a pistol or a rifle. That's it there. It's sort of conical shaped. Anyway, we'll pop it in the bag. Now, they have forecast thunderstorms for this afternoon. And looking at the weather over there, it looks grim. And I don't want to be out here in the middle of nowhere when it starts thundering and lightning. So if you don't see me after this, I'll see you at home for the roundup. Okie dokie. Right, catch you all later. I'm still here. You can't get rid of me that easy. Anyway, got a target down here, quite strange. Very iffy, very scratchy. Kept coming up as foil, which is not surprising, because when I found it, it's this little bizarre thing here. I thought it was a coin, but it's so thin, it's unbelievable. It literally is like a wafer. It's not a button. I can't see anything on it, so I don't know what it is. It may be some sort of token, I'm not entirely sure. It's that thin, it's dried out already, and the soil's quite wet. Anyway, that's what it is, my friends, whatever it is. Like I said, it could be a token or something, or what's left of a token. Anyway, we'll pop it in the boxy thing, give it a clean up later and see if there's anything on it, which I doubt very much. Right, catch you later. Right, my good friends, well, I'm at the bottom of the field now. The field's actually on a slope, and at the bottom it's absolutely sodden because of all the heavy rain we've had. Anyway, got a signal down here about 5 inches deep, came up at 82 on the ID scale, and it's this bizarre little doohickey. I haven't got a clue what it is. Looks as though it's broken off just there. Quite decorative, I suppose, really, but as I said, I don't know what it is. So we'll pop it in the bag and we'll plod on. Right, boys and girls, well, I know you've already seen some photographs of the finds in the video itself, but I always think it's nice to actually see them in person, so to speak. Anyway, it has to say that the field was quite clean as regards unwanted items. The only bits of stuff I dug up that I didn't really want was a sliver of copper, ring pull, piece of foil, blob of metal and a 4-holed button with the cotton still attached to it. Now, I'm going to tell you an interesting little story about the cotton attached to that button, so don't go away. Now, we have the mystery item. I still don't know what it is. It's made of bronze, quite decorative, broken just there, but it looks as though it was going to splay out into something else. But what? I honestly don't know. If you've got any ideas, please let me know. Projectile of some description, made of lead obviously, could be from a pistol or a small rifle. Date wise, maybe 1700, could be 1800. That is the medieval belt mount that I found. Very nice little piece. Still got the claws on the back where it was attached to the belt, and I'm really happy with that. Excellent little find. That is the ring that I dug up on the top part of the footpath. It was silver plated, most of it's gone. There is some still left on the inside, as you can see. How old it is, haven't got a clue, but it must have been in the ground a long time for all the silver plating to actually disappear. But it's a nice find all the same. I'm more than happy with that. That was the surface find, Queen Victoria. There's nothing on the other side, it's just gone. So there you go. But it's Queen Victoria. That is what I assume is a token, although there's nothing on it at all. Wafer thin. And that's about as much as I can tell you, my friends. Nothing on it whatsoever. But still a nice find. That is Edward VII, halfpenny. Just see the gentleman there facing right, and you can still see Britannia on the other side. And I think the date on that, even though part of it's missing, is 1909. So that's that. Good old George III. And for me, in good condition, because the ones I normally dig up are absolutely destroyed. So I'm more than happy with that. Date wise about 1790. Can plainly see Britannia on the back facing left just there. Threepenny bit. Queen's dad. Date on that is 1938. I believe that's called a thrift plant, or so my friend Tom from Cheshire Metal Detecting has reliably informed me, because I didn't know. I thought it were a thistle. And there he is, Queen's dad, George VI on the other side, and obviously the best find of the day, bar none, is the lovely silver hammered coin that I found on the bottom half of the old footpath. Edward I, date wise about 1250 AD, something like that. In good condition, apart from the fact that it's been clipped a couple of times. You can quite clearly see the cross and pellets on the back, and that made my day. Absolutely lovely find. Right, those are the finds, my friends. Let's get on to the story about the cotton. Are you sitting comfortably, boys and girls? Good, then I'll begin. Now, going back maybe 200 years or so, cotton and wool were very expensive commodities, which is why we used to have so many very wealthy mill owners. Now, one of the things they started to do to combat the high prices was to recycle fabrics. Maybe some of you can remember the old rag and bone man that used to come past your house wanting to exchange old rags and stuff for soap and pegs. Now, the ragman would take the old rags and garments away and separate them into cotton and wool, and then they would be mechanically recycled. Now, this practice goes back a long way. They first started to use the recycled fabrics for making uniforms for soldiers during the Crimean War, and this continued right through to the First World War and the Second World War because of the need for so many uniforms. But one of the other things they used to use it for was sewing buttons onto clothing. Now, I'm sure you've heard the phrase shoddy workmanship. Well, that's where the word shoddy comes from, because they called it shoddy cotton. It looked okay, but it was very inferior, and that is why you find so many buttons in the fields and on ploughed land today, because of the inferior cotton they used to use to sew the buttons onto clothing in the olden days. Okay, just thought I'd share that little gem with you. Now, before we go, I really want to give a shout out to Jamie and Rachel from Treasure Rangers, because I think a lot more people need to be made aware of all the good work they do for charity on their metal detecting channel, and they also find some nice stuff as well. So if you haven't seen them before, pop over to Treasure Rangers and give Jamie and Rachel a watch. Okie dokie. Right. Thank you very much for joining me today, my friends. I do appreciate it. Thank you to all my new subscribers and viewers. It's great to have you on board, and I'll see you all the next time round. Bye bye.